Godox reached out to me and asked if I wanted to take their TL60 RGB tube light for a spin, and of course I said yes. These types of lighting solutions are exciting to me, and the form factor makes this light quite the addition to your workspace, whether you're using it for a prop in your A-roll, like I am here, or using it to light your B-roll in some sort of creative way. Each light in this 2-light kit that I received from Godox is roughly 2 feet long, has an onboard menu control functionality, a super robust smartphone application for both Android and iOS, and it comes packaged with an actual hardware remote control like you see here. These lights have a built-in battery that comes packaged in a very nice protective traveling case. This kit retails for around $480 USD at the time of this video, so if you're interested in pricing and availability, feel free to check the links in the description. You can also buy a single light for around 240 bucks. With that introduction out of the way, the TL60 begs the question of which features will make this light stand out among an increasing market of battery-powered RGB tubes that are available on the market today, aside from its pricing. Because if you ask me, $480 for 2 lights and the package that this comes in is quite the phenomenal pricing point. It has to get your attention if you're in the market for something like this. The first and most notable omission is Godox decided to get rid of weatherproofing altogether compared to some other manufacturers that give you some sort of ingress protection rating on their lighting systems, because you're going to take this light out with you, especially when it's battery powered. In replacement of that though, they include 2 major features that make up for this exclusion. DMX, which is nice for more professional settings, and a really nice and well executed smartphone application for both Android and iOS. Let's start with the application. Godox Light can be found on the Apple App Store and Google Play. One thing that had me concerned about the claim to having an app control over the TL60 is that some manufacturers don't do so hot in making the app that works well with their lighting system and where it's reliable enough to take it on set or use it in a critical situation. I mean, if you think about it, what good is a light that doesn't function if you need it on that shoot day if you're trying to control it with an application and you don't have any other backups? The app experience on iOS has been a good one for me personally, and it has been pretty reliable. The menu is super easy to navigate and you get the results you want. As you make the changes on the app, the light reflects those changes. The good thing about the TL60 is that if the app fails, you have the included hardware controller or the onboard controls that you can actually make those adjustments on the light itself. And if you also want to make a more professional setup, you can use DMX. One note, the single TL60 doesn't come with this controller, so if you purchase that $200 and some odd single pack of the TL60, it doesn't have this controller in the package. So just make note of that if you're interested in just purchasing one light. I will say the Godox Light app is really simple and gets straight to the point with giving users access to the things they'll need and leaves out all the fluff that they don't. It's cool and all to be able to create a light diagram from some of the apps that I've used in the past and, you know, power that whole thing, but it's something that a lot of you out there probably don't bother with and don't really need. You know, you really want to just make quick color temperature adjustments or add some sort of a lighting effect or, you know, some sort of RGB to your setup or something like that. And if you're creating lighting diagram setups to that level, you're probably already invested in a DMX system of some sort that will give you the results you need when you need them across many different brands of light that support DMX. That's where this TL60 shines and adds that additional functionality to those of you out there that are invested in that system. With the TL60, there's a ton of options that meet a wide user base from very novice users to expert level users. I've said DMX quite a bit in this video, and I'm not referring to the wrapper. Digital multiplex, aka DMX, is a lighting standard that started in the theater industry a while ago and has and still is very popular on film sets today because it allows crews to remotely control different lighting units from a single interface, regardless of the brand. Okay, let's take a look at what you get in this 2-light kit. The TL60 comes in this nice carrying case, has a top handle. It has reinforced siding, so you shouldn't worry too much about transporting this thing in this case. Getting into the packaging, you can see there's some shipping foam that we'll get out of the way. Let's start with the documentation. It looks like they have quality control pass card here. You got the warranty that Godox provides for this kit. And then you got the instruction manual. The first thing I want to take a look at is the remote control. The Godox RC R9 is provided in the packaging. You do not get batteries. They run off AAA. You're provided 2 RJ45 cables for DMX control. You get 2 power adapters, both of which are 20 volts, and they're really high quality. And they got this nice brushed plastic that look like aluminum. You get 4 safety wires. One thing that I'd like to highlight is that they're plastic coated, so they're not going to give you any metal slivers or anything like that. These are metal cablings, and I've had lights in the past just be provided with the metal cables, and they're not plastic coated. These are, so you're never going to have any issues with like getting a metal sliver, and that's like one of the worst things ever. Godox also provides 2 V-mount Velcro retention clasps, and then you get the base fixtures as well, so you can mount this thing anywhere you want. I could see this being really useful with just attaching this V-mount clasp to the power bricks or the power adapters, and then just kind of using them wherever you need to, you know, putting them in place so you can have them there for a longer period of time. You get 2 light mounting fixtures. This is a nice addition because you can mount your lights using these 2 quarter 20 threads on the bottom of this plastic fixture. It's not a permanent, you know, solution, but it's a really nice addition to have in the packaging because you can put this light anywhere that you can mount a quarter 20. There's this nice rubber inside, so you're not going to scratch the light. So you just take one of these clips, take one of the Godox lights, slap it in place, secure it, and then now you can mount the light how you need. It's a nice addition in this package, but it's not something that I would use permanently because over time this plastic weakens and cracks and things like that, and it's not a really robust mount. It's just something to, you know, mount the light for a short period of time. I would recommend that you look into more permanent fixtures or more robust fixtures than these, but it is what it is, and it's included in the package, so I can't complain. Let's take a look at the case really quick. There's these nice channels within it, so when you place the light in, the lights don't roll around, and I like that because some packagings are just bags or whatever, and these lights banging around in transport is not a good thing for them. So with the lights, let's take a closer look. On this end, you get the power switch. Let's turn that on. See if there's any juice. There certainly is. Now that gives us the ability to look at the menu system. Looking at this thing right out of the box, you can see that there is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band and then the Bluetooth button. With the Wi-Fi button, you can switch between Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, or connect this light via DMX. Here you have filters. You can go Roscoe or Lee, and then if you want to go into either one of those, you just press that button again, and then you can find the exact Roscoe or Lee filter as needed. Mode gives you what mode you want to shoot this in, whether it's HSI, CCT, or, you know, effects. So that allows you to go that route. And in here you can go through different effects, and there's quick little status symbols there that kind of give you an idea of what you're selecting. And I believe there's 14 of them. Yes, there is. And with those 14, you can make adjustments within those effects panels as well. Then you just got regular Kelvin adjustments as we started the video in, and those go in 100 increments, so you're not going to get like granular adjustments because some lights, you know, go in increments of 50. Then you can go into the dim function. The caveat with this though is that you can't just press it and go into it, which is a nice touch because sometimes I inadvertently make dim adjustments. You have to press and hold for a bit, and then the light blinks. Then you can make that adjustment as needed. So the brightness adjustment can go all the way down to 1%. One thing to note is that the brightness is a little bright at 1%. It's something that you're just gonna have to live with. I don't know if Godox can push out a firmware update that will make adjustments to how bright that actually is. I can show you a little bit of a demonstration of how bright 1% is. It's not overexposing or blowing out my hand. It's just a little too bright for my liking, but it's something that I can work around. The function button makes adjustments to sub-menus within the light, so that's a nice touch. That's all the onboard features of this light. You can really do a lot with this light. Let's go ahead and hop back into the video. RGB offers a ton of options, especially in this form factor. I found this type of lighting system and its options make this type of light a really nice addition to YouTube creation as far as being a creator and my workflow. How you control them and how easy they are to adjust is what makes them so useful in so many different settings, especially when you're in tight, compact settings where, you know, you're limited in space. These tubes are lightweight and battery powered, so you can kind of stick them anywhere as long as there's no moisture. I'm sure these lights can handle a little bit of that, but I just wouldn't risk it because these lights aren't rated for any kind of ingress protection. So I just, keep them away from moisture. As soon as you have them mounted, you probably want to be able to adjust them without having to touch the light. That's where the smartphone application comes into play and this actual remote system. It's really easy to use and really easy to set up. The light itself is super bright, giving you about 1500 lux at full brightness, and it offers a pretty high color accuracy as well. If you're using this to create some nice headshots, the light is capable of doing expanded Kelvin outputs between 2700 and 6500 Kelvin. The CRI is listed on the spec sheet at 96 and the TLCI is at 98. There's a 2600 milliamp hour battery built into each one of these lights that will give you about 2 to 2.5 hours at full brightness on a single charge. Referring to the battery, I've had no issues getting through shooting my A-roll and having them produce or provide a nice gradient background lighting that you can see here. I sit through 45 minute filming sessions like this as I sit and mess up my script and reread and re-record things. I never have to worry about those lights dying, especially when they're at full charge. The good thing about the lights is that they have a nice little battery indicator on there as well, so you're not guessing at where the power levels are. I'm having a hard time finding anything wrong with the TL60 as a whole, but there are some things that I would like to have changed or fixed in their next version, or maybe via a firmware update. First, it seems like a minor gripe of mine, but when the light is set at 1% brightness, it is surprisingly bright, brighter than I would expect. I hope maybe they can fix this via a firmware update, but if not, I'll get around it. I'll survive. It's not a problem. It seems like the light is a little bit brighter than it should be. Second, there's no ingress protection rating for this light. I think that's a big omission in my opinion, a major miss. This type of light lends itself to being exposed to moisture and dust and all types of things and being out in the elements. And I wish there was some level of IP rating for this light. Because you're going to want to take this thing outside, and I just wouldn't with the TL60. I mean, if you wanted to, I'm sure it would be fine, but the DMX opening ports on the back end or on the end of this light are really scary to me, and if it got any moisture or dust in there, you could probably ruin the light. And finally, is probably not anything wrong with this. I just can't wait for them to make a longer and shorter version of this light. It would be really nice to have half the size and then double the size of this to kind of make a really nice setup. So that's not quite a complaint. It's just more of an observation and a request on my part to Godox. I'd like to see them build those form factors. Before I close, I must disclose Godox was kind enough to send this 2-light kit out to me for testing and review, and they made this video possible, so a huge thank you to them. If you're interested in pricing and availability, again, those will be linked in the description. Full disclosure, those are my affiliate links, so if you shop through them, they give me a little bit of a commission based off your purchases without costing you anything in addition. It's a nice way for you to support content creation here on this channel, and it allows me to continue to make this type of content for you. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas, and I will catch you in the next one.